was 1992. We were at DeSoto Correctional Institution. We began looking at each other's cases. I didn't even need to get far into the details of his case, and I was willing to put my life on the fact that he's innocent.
My name is Kevin Herrick. I've been incarcerated now for 36 years for a crime I did not commit.
On July 15th at about 12:30 a.m., Cheryl wakes up to a sexual assault in her bedroom. It's dark in her room, so she doesn't get a good look at her attacker. Then suddenly, Scott comes home and surprises the attacker, who jumps off the bed and goes after Scott, and he began to stab Scott in the chest. The attacker tries to flee down the sidewalk. Scott chases after him. Cheryl leaves the apartment and starts, yelling for help. An elderly woman hears this yelling outside. She goes into Kevin's room, wakes him up, and Kevin goes outside.
She's shaking me. I wake up, I look at her, I hear what she's saying. I jump up, and I run to the front of the building. When I come out, Cheryl's standing to my right, and she's screaming over and over, "Don't leave me, don't leave me." And it can't be more than a minute. Scott's coming down the walkway towards me, and he's screaming out a license plate.
He chases the offender, sees the car pulling away in the apartment complex behind the scene, gets a tag, and runs immediately back to the house yelling, "Somebody write this down."
And finds his fiance standing right there, Kevin.
It doesn't make any sense that all of these events would allow Kevin to commit the crime, run up the block, jump over 1, 2 fences, get in through the back slider, sneak around into his bedroom, disrobe, get in bed, and make believe he's asleep. Because we're talking minutes. And I don't know how that's possible. In Cheryl and Scott's room, they found fibers and hairs. None of the analysis comes back to Kevin. He does not match. The bloody fingerprints are lifted, but none came back to Kevin.
There should have been, if he's the culprit, he would have left some physical footprint there. And he just didn't. There just isn't any.
None of the physical evidence is connecting Kevin to the crime scene. Police tell Cheryl that they found a knife and clothes in Kevin's room, and both had blood on them. This was not true.
They took me to the jail. I'm handcuffed, and I'm looking back at him. So I don't know what I'm talking about. So we have 2 eyewitnesses that positively identified him.
Mistaken eyewitness identification is probably one of the leading contributors to a wrongful conviction.
Jennifer Thompson was a college student in 1984 when a man broke into her off-campus apartment and raped her at knife point. Jennifer worked with police, then identified a man named Ronald Cotton, but after 11 years in prison, DNA testing proved Cotton's innocence.
For me, when I first had my original memory, the more time that goes by and the more things that are said to us and shown to us, the more our memories become contaminated. Their job that night was to actually find the perpetrator and not lead Cheryl through any flawed police procedures.
Kevin ends up with a defense attorney, Ed Leinster, who doesn't do any pretrial investigation, doesn't interview any of the witnesses, and he fails to introduce exculpatory evidence. Leinster also had a bad drinking problem.
After they sent the jury off, and Ed came over and talked to me and my mom and dad, and I smelled alcohol in his breath, and I was like, what the heck?
After his 7th DUI conviction, he's sentenced to 5 years in prison, and he loses his license to practice law in 2000.
Anybody reading Kevin's trial transcript comes away with the same mistaken thought that they do when they read Leo's. This guy is innocent, and what I say is he couldn't have done it.
That Kevin was claiming to be innocent from the beginning was important to me because I know what it is to be wrongfully accused.
It bound us together in a way that was like, well, here's one person in this crazy world that understands exactly what each other are experiencing.
We made a pact. Whoever gets out fights for the other. And that never, ever died. You know, and I have never had a better best friend.
He was a good kid, really. I'm not exaggerating there. He really was. He was the youngest, so they lorded it over him. Lisa was boss. And he just pretty much went along with it.
He was always wanting to be with Mark and I. It was just the three of us, and, you know, we really stuck together.
Through high school, we worked at the gas station mini market that my parents owned. Kevin worked with me every Saturday and Sunday.
I missed out on everything I could have had with him. He was a great young man. I mean, he would have, I'm sure, found a nice woman, had a wonderful family, more grandkids for me.
The visits are everything, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm living my life, you know. I'm going to go home, big TV, you know, air conditioning. My brother's never had the chance to do anything like that.
He deserves to come home too. And I didn't want to leave him there. I did not want to leave him there. I mean, with all my heart, I did not want to leave him there. And it was hard to leave Hardy. Really hard. And I'm like I said, I don't want to seem ungrateful. I'm glad to be home. You know, but I'll be even happier when he's home.
Right by Largo Police Station was my dad's gas station. And so the police, when they're pulling me out, I'm looking at that gas station. I used to, as a kid, I'd run out there, you know. But I'm looking at it, and I'm handcuffed, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it can't be more than 10 days for them to figure this out. But at that time, that voice is telling me, take a good look, because it's going to be a long time before you see it again. And much later in life, in 2004, I'm praying, God, what's going on? When is this going to end? When am I going to go home? And the voice, the same voice told me, when I come get you, that's when you're going to go home. And a lot of people think, well, that's when you die. But it dawned on me that that was a promise that I'm not going to be here forever. That I am going to get out and I'm going to see that building again. So I've always, even losing again and again, have come to the conclusion that eventually I'm going to see that building again.
You want to ask